Hello and welcome to the closing ceremony for the Reawakening, the Sacred South 2025, where throughout the week we have been extremely blessed to be able to listen to and watch such a wide array of presenters sharing their insights, their wisdom, and their knowledge, all about how we can deepen our connection with our authentic soul. I also would like to take this opportunity of thanking you for attending, because without you, and also without all these wonderful presenters, this conference would not be able to go ahead. And before I, as my role as space holder, share with you the closing ceremony for this event, I just would like to take a moment to reflect on what has actually been shared throughout the week, because it's been a big week. On Monday, we created Sacred Space and enjoyed Jyoti Ma talking about Earth's ascension process and how we are awakening to it, while grandmother Helene Landmark reminded us the importance it was for us to remember the sacred gift of our own existence. We also had the opportunity to listen to Angel Deer as he shared how we can unveil our sacred purpose as a journey to authentic self-discovery. And James Powers reminded us of our spiritual connections to the earth as well as nature. And I also shared how we can awaken our sacred connection. On Tuesday, we had Korinka, who reminded us of our earth connection, and she also shared with us a message that she had received from Pachamama, Earth Mother. While the enigmatic Susan Weed revealed the importance of herbs and how we could reawaken our sacred ancestral herbalists. We also had the opportunity to listen to the wisdom of Eva Park about how women can set things right again. Linda Starwolf invited us to awaken to the Aquarian shaman within. And we also heard from quantum physicist Dr. Amit Goswami about the ascent of humanity. On Wednesday, at the halfway point, we journeyed to Egypt, or the ancient Kemet lands, with Stephen Mailer, who shared his deep wisdom about the oral Indigenous teachings from that land. Dr. Taria Wood shared her insights into how we can develop a new mythology for the future human, while Dr. Valentina Aswa shared her knowledge and insights about the 7 levels or scales of happiness. Susan Taylor Shira talked about the sacred journeys of the soul, and we cannot forget Rachel Roberts' beautiful connection and information about how we can reconnect with those wild, untamed parts of our own selves. On Thursday, we had the opportunity to listen to Jorge Luis de Jairo, who talked about the new cycle of the Incan culture. And Mapalo, so he shared her insights into the Radiance Lotus Women's Qigong. She also gave us a demonstration of some of these practices. Luke Blue Eagle provided us with insights into his wonderful sacred essences and the liquid smudges that he makes and why they are so important. Georgine Markin-Byrne revealed to us the benefits of sound healing and how we can use the ancient power of words and music, not only to tune into the landscape, but also to create sacred connections. And also we had Enrica Vazuri, who talked about returning to the sacred self and returning to a journey of light, soul, remembrance, and also in alchemy. And finally, we are here. So there's a lot of words. We've had a lot of fantastic presenters. We are now here at day 5. And we still have many fantastic presenters for you, starting off with Dr. Veronica Goodchild, who will be encouraging us to move from fear to heart and how we can use the Merkaba star during these times of deep change. There's also Kathy Forrest, who'll be talking about the doorway to the divine. And Naomi Amaya Love, we're offering ways in order for us to reawaken that holy, high, whole and healed self or part of us, regardless of whether we are women or men or anyone else in between. And finally, we also have Antoinette, protector of jewel heart, who'll be talking to us and sharing with us an Indian practice known as Machamiki and digesting the shadow that we all share as a collective. So there has been so much information to take in a relatively short period of time. And I know for some of us, these topics are brand new and maybe not all that familiar to you. So I do hope you get an opportunity to visit the ones that are of interest. I would also like to share one more thing with you before we commence the closing ceremony. And this is something that I mentioned in last year's Return to the Mother conference. But I also feel that as we go through these times of chaos and deep change, it is an important concept to revisit. And that is the concept of deepening or deep listening. Now, deepening is a word from the Daly River in Northern Territory here in Australia. It's an Indigenous word, but it's something that I feel majority of Indigenous cultures all around the world have a very similar practice. It can also be seen being somewhat similar to the Buddhist concept of mindfulness. However, where mindfulness sort of focuses on ourselves, Didri focuses on our connection in with nature, in that we are being reminded that we are part of nature and not separate to it. So it's about sort of this deep listening to nature on a soul level, opening our ears, and in fact, all of our senses to what nature is communing to us and with us. Because basically for far too long, us humans, especially in the Western society, we have perceived that we are separate from nature. We have forgotten that we are so intimately connected with nature. And this also means that we have an intimate part of the great cosmic web with a very important role to play. So that's something to think about. And now, as space holder, I would like to invite you basically to join me in the closing ceremony, regardless of whether you are watching or listening to this as the conference begins for day 5 or at a later stage. You may prefer to sort of leave the space open, enabling the energies that we called in at the beginning to slowly dissipate over time. However, how I was taught, and part of my own spiritual practice, is when elements are called in and acknowledged at the commencement of rites such as our conference, it's best to sort of release them, surrender them, allow them the opportunity to dissipate if they wish, basically opening up the portals. So normally when I perform this rite, say in person, I work Samwise, or what's called Juso, up with the sun. And when I close it down, when I sort of open the circle, release, take down the sacred space, I work in the opposite direction, which is known as Wiedershin, we go against the sun. So depending on what hemisphere you are in, this might be different directions, but I will point them out as we go through. So if you want to use this as a meditation, what I will do is just bring up an image on the screen. I will just remove myself. And you can sort of take this as a meditation on its own. So let us begin. So just inhale, taking a couple of deep inhalations, breathing in the light from the cosmos to the top of your head, your crown chakra, Sarasvara. And as you exhale, release what no longer serves you into the earth. Inhale and bring down that spiritual guiding light of all potential, of all possibility, that stems back to the first cosmic inhalation. And as you exhale, Bring your awareness to your feet, your connection with the ground, with Earth, Gaia. And in doing so, you're able to draw up the grounding, protecting, nurturing energy of Mother Earth. That deep knowledge that is contained within our bones. And as we continue to inhale and exhale, sense into the feeling that we are earth-based cosmic beings. And then bring your awareness back to your physical self. As we turn to face the east, or visualize, imagine that you're facing the east, the direction of air. It is represented by a feather with insect. And as we inhale and exhale, feel the freshness of the morning breeze on your face. We give thanks to the element of air for coming into the sacred space, for illuminating and expanding our minds, and bringing into our consciousness all that is meant to be revealed. As you inhale, feel that expansion. And as you exhale, release what no longer serves you. Now, depending on what side of the equator you reside on, will depend on which direction you now visualize or turn to face. If you are in the northern hemisphere, move to the north. However, if you are like me in the southern hemisphere, move to the south. This is Earth. Earth is represented by a bowl of dirt, crystal, or stone. As you inhale and exhale, feel the solidity of your connection with Mother Earth, with Gaia beneath your feet. We give thanks to the element of Earth for coming into the sacred space, nurturing our soul as it continues to transform us through its many awakenings. As we inhale, feel that expansion. And as you exhale, release what no longer serves you. Now turn to face the west, the direction of water. This can be represented by a seashell or a glass of water, piece of coral. Inhale and exhale. And as you do, feel the rise of your intuition, your psychic awareness, your deep soul self coming into conscious awareness. We give thanks to the element of water for coming into the sacred space, reminding us of the mysterious, deep soul wisdom that connects us back to the watery womb of the universe. And as you inhale, feel the expansion. And as you exhale, release what no longer serves you. And then once again, depending on what side of the equator you reside on, will depend on what direction you turn to face. If you're in the northern hemisphere, this will be to the south. However, if you're like me in the southern hemisphere, this will be to the north. This is the direction of fire. And fire is represented by a candle flame. As you inhale and exhale, feel your passion, your desire, your very life force pulsing through your veins. We give thanks to the element of fire for coming into this sacred space, stimulating our minds and aligning us with our deep soul's desire. As you inhale, feel that expansion. And as you exhale, release what no longer serves you. And finally, return back to your original direction, sealing the circle. Inhale and exhale. For above us is spirit, cosmos. Below us is soul, the earth. And inhale and exhale. As we acknowledge that we are forever connected with this energy, being souls made up of stardust, incarnated into this earthly realm. Inhale and exhale, and just be. Taking another deep breath. And when you're ready, begin to bring your awareness back to the here and now. Had your eyes closed, you can open them if you wish. Stretch. So once again, I like to thank you for attending this year's Reawakening the Sacred Self. I hope you have enjoyed it. I also hope to see you next week for my free webinar entitled Awakening to the Magic of Ancient Egypt. All you need to do is just register. I'll put the link below this recording, or if you're watching this through the event schedule page, you'll find the link there to register. It's free, and you'll be sent all the details for this recording. I do have a couple of events coming up in October that I thought I'd just like to briefly mention. I will be appearing for a new weekend-long event entitled Spectral Evidence, which is all about the paranormal, supernatural, ghosts, spirits, and all other beings that sort of go bump in the night. I'm rather excited about this. I think it starts Friday afternoon or evening, goes all the way through to Sunday, so it's a whole weekend. My presentation is called Familiar Spirits of the In-Between Spaces, Exploring the Liminal Realms. And it will be live streamed on Sunday morning, which is the 5th of October. This is Adelaide time. This event is a ticketed event. I'll put the links below. However, with your ticket, you get unlimited access to all the presentations taking place over the entire weekend. And at the stage, I think it's unlimited access, so you can watch the presentations again and again and again. Then also in October, I have my next live stream offering through the College of Psychic Studies based in London, called A Smorgasbord of Spiritual Connection, where you will learn how to sort of master practical tools and techniques to enhance not only your psychic awareness, but also to develop your communication with spirit guides, angels, ancestors, fays, and much more. So again, I will put the link below. And also in late October, early November, I will be offering another free presentation through the Mystical Soul Academy, this time on some of the ancient Greek gods, goddesses, and heroes. So this will be sort of based on my upcoming trip. So if you're wanting to keep in touch with me, please feel free to subscribe to the Mystical Soul Academy newsletter. And by doing that, you also receive some free gifts as well. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. Say thank you for participating in this online event. And I hope you will continue enjoying the other presentations if you have yet to watch today's presentations. Blessings, and I hope to see you again soon.